It's the most wonderful time of the year.
What's up, weirdos, and welcome to my very last recorded video of my 31 days of Halloween. Tomorrow will be my live stream that will be coming at 7:30 p.m. Did you hear it? I said an actual time, 7:30 p.m. So I'll see you then, and today we're going to be talking about a Netflix movie called The Ritual.
Where the hell are we, Hutch?
We should pitch the tents.
This is ridiculous, man.
Luke, you're getting soaked.
You hear that?
No, I didn't hear anything. Come on.
So we're going to talk about it then or not?
It was a nightmare, Phil.
Well, what happened to you then?
We got spooked and we had bad dreams, all right?
This movie was written by Joe Barton and directed by Derek Bruckner. And when I first clicked on the movie, honestly, I was a little skeptical, mostly because I was like, okay, so written by a dude, directed by a dude, the characters are 4 dudes. Okay. And so I wasn't like super excited when I first clicked on it, but I decided to give it a chance. My brother and a few other people said I should watch it, so I checked it out. Let's start with what I liked. I really thought the monster was really cool. That was my number one. It had a solid mix of something scary you definitely wouldn't want to meet in the woods, and also this sort of psychological thing where the monster had the ability to affect people's thoughts and perception, which also was pretty stinking cool. And in terms of the monster reveal, they also did that really well. It was sort of a slow burn in terms of when you were gonna see this monster. You got like a little bit of a hint at one point, and then it was just like Blair Witch for a long time where I was like, maybe I'll never get to see the monster. Maybe that was all I got. And then when they finally show it to you, it's totally worth it. I also did like how the monster chose its victims. I thought it was kind of specific and cool, but I'm gonna get to that in the spoilers. Now for what I didn't like. I didn't love the characters. Honestly, they were all sort of general dudes. I wanted something more specific from the characters and from the relationships to each other. It also felt so much like The Descent. I like couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, a group of friends that are grieving that are going into the wilderness to like get through some shit, and like apparently you just shouldn't do that. Apparently that's a bad idea. You will get eaten. One other thing that was sort of a bummer was that you never really got to see any of the kills. Like, some of the kills you didn't get to see anything at all, and then when you finally did get to see one, it was like not that good. I was sort of bummed about that. So I was like, you have this really cool monster that could like probably tear something to shreds, but you're not gonna let it tear anything to shreds, or you are, but you're not gonna show me. Like, that's sort of a bummer, right? And now let's get to the ratings. For the scare, I'm giving it a 3. It was an averagely scary movie. There were moments where I was like, oh no, I'm scared, and moments where I was bored. So it's pretty average. The gore gets like a 2. You do see some animal guts and like a couple of deaths, but nothing that you couldn't handle even if you don't really like gore. The cheese, I don't know, it gets like a 2. It wasn't particularly cheesy to me. There was like maybe the ending was a little cheesy where I was like, oh, okay, like, is this what was happening the whole time? But getting to that. And then my overall, did I like this movie rating? My 5 being oh my god, this is the best movie I ever saw in my entire life, and my 1 being, please do not touch this movie, stay far, far away. I'm just giving it a 3. Like, I know it's an average rating, but it's an average movie. Like, there were things that I enjoyed, but to be perfectly real, I just felt a little bored by a bunch of dudes in the woods. I wanted more. I just wanted more, and I did get more from like the ending of the movie, and the monster was cool, but in terms of like the characters' relationships, I just was like, okay, like, give me something else. And now let's get to some spoilers. So the last section of the movie is, it's a cult. That's basically everything. It's like, oh, this monster exists, and it has this huge cult that has basically worships it and makes sure it has enough to eat and all that kind of jazz. And I knew it had to be something because it's called The Ritual. They have all these like clearly man-made symbol carvings going on around where it's like, okay, obviously there's some people involved. It's not just the monster. So I sort of saw that was coming, but I didn't hate it. I was like, okay, like I'm with it. I accept it. It's a cult. Okay. My favorite image they used in the movie was, so Luke, who's sort of the main character and the final boy in this movie. So basically he has this traumatic thing that happens to him. He watches his friend die and doesn't do anything about it. And so some of his friends also kind of blame him for that. And it happens in a convenience store, and so he gets these flashbacks that are sort of brought on by the monster where he is back at the convenience store, but he's also in the woods. So it's this thing where it's like the worlds are sort of bleeding together. So you have like fluorescent lights hanging from the trees, and there's grass, but there's the shelves, and that was really cool to me. I was like, this is awesome. Like this sort of like mix of this like everyday life scenario and wilderness and this flashback was like really beautiful and exciting. Now that I can say it was a cult because it's the spoilers part, I also liked how the monster chose its followers and that people with more pain in them, that have experienced pain or that are currently in pain, are more attractive to this monster. I thought that was kind of an interesting thing, and overall like a cool concept. So yeah, those are all my thoughts on this movie. I definitely enjoyed it. I did not hate it whatsoever. I know a 3 sounds like a boring rating, but I did enjoy watching the movie. I thought it was cool. It just didn't like blow me out of the water or anything, but I definitely think it's worth checking out. It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix movie. And yeah, and I'll see you tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. for my live stream because it's gonna be Halloween. Can you believe it? It's finally here. It's finally here. Anyways, have a nice scream. Bye.